Chapter 19 is right among us, fellas. It doesn't seem like it, but actually it drops on the 19th of February. And the official Naruto account on Twitter drops a sneak peek about a week before the official release, so I suspect this video will be out on the 9th. So basically in a few days we will be seeing the first spoiler for the new chapter, so the time to lock in is now. But first, before I drop the community predictions video, I want to make my own predictions for chapter 19, just so you all can see where I stand in all this commotion. So of course, before we even start talking about all of this, I'm gonna need my loyal friends and supporters to show out this video. I'm trying to get 500 likes on this video. Let me see how excited you all are for chapter 19, because I'm ecstatic. If we can reach that goal, then I'll work on getting y'all another giveaway on live soon. But without further ado, let's get into it. So before I get into the meat and potatoes, just for the people that may have forgotten a few details about chapter 18, we left off with Ryu discovering Sarada and the others' true motives. By tricking Yodo into going after his Thorn Soul, he was able to foil the plan set by Shikamaru. Now the reason this is so controversial is because this plan was organized by Kashin Koji, specifically with the help of his prescient Shinjutsu to see into the future. This plan was supposed to give them a chance at defeating Matsuri and Ryu for good, but instead they failed, and now they have to find a way out of the situation where they have very little chance of actually defeating the Shinju fair and square. Now, we know something went terribly wrong because Koji stated himself that the chance of them actually failing this mission wasn't very high. This means something happened recently, or maybe not so recently, that shifted the timeline so much that the chances of them succeeding have dropped significantly. And it's not like the end result of the mission was altered a little bit here and there. No, everything about this mission went wrong. Not only did they fail with Ryu, but Konohamaru also failed with Matsuri. So they still have to defeat both of them, but while they're hostile. And by chance, if you wanted to know what changed in the timeline for the mission to go so horribly wrong, then click the video in the top right corner. In there, I went over several possible points in the story that happened relatively recent, where the timeline may have been altered to a point where this mission failing became a high possibility. So enough of this, let's look to the next chapter now. What can we expect based on chapter 18? Well, to gauge that answer, I think certain panels give us a massive hint to that. Looking back to the conversation that Koji had with Boruto, it was basically him telling Boruto that no matter what happens, he was not to go to Sunagakure, and if he did, then JURA would for sure make a move. But from the mission failing and his friends fighting for their life, I just don't see Boruto sitting tight and doing nothing about that. And it's not even all because of them being in danger. They could be in danger, but as long as Koji says they're gonna be okay, then I believe Boruto would hold off on going. The true problem is the damaged trust between Boruto and Koji. From what Koji told Boruto, he didn't like his response because he specifically told him to give him a percentage, the percentage of them failing the mission, in which Koji replied, not that high. He avoided giving him a direct answer to his question. All he told him was he was not to go no matter what. And then Boruto responded with a questionable look on his face, implying that he's suspecting Koji of something. So basically, this is what I mean when I say that trust isn't 100% there anymore like it used to. If Koji can't be transparent enough to tell Boruto something as important as that, then why should Boruto put all of his trust in Koji? At the end of the day, he holds no sentimental ties with his comrades like Boruto does. If it comes down to having to sacrifice someone like Konohamaru or Sarada to proceed towards the better future, then why wouldn't Koji take that risk? Exactly. But the issue is Boruto. We know he's just not that type of guy to make a choice like that. So you just really gotta think to yourself, if that was really the case, do you think Koji would even tell Boruto that a choice like that has to be made? I think his first instinct would be to just lie, or just tell him limited information on the situation. It's not like he can tell anyway. He doesn't have the prescient Shinjutsu or the Senragon. He's at the mercy of Koji when it comes to information gathering. He holds the keys. So if one of the only people you can trust proves to be an untrustworthy person, I don't think you would trust them with your friend's fate in his hands. So all these factors could play a big part in Boruto deciding to act on his own and help his friends in Sunagakure, despite JURA's potential arrival. So excuse me if I think Boruto just going to Sunagakure on his own free will is not something crazy to say. The story did an excellent job of setting up the future, and they were pretty damn obvious with it too. You have Mitsuki show us that one of Boruto's flying Raijin pins is in Sunagakure, most likely pre-planted by him or whatever. Boruto's not just gonna leave something like that laying around on accident. So there is definitely a purpose on why that's there. So showing us that pin just tells us that if he wanted to, Boruto could show up at pretty much any time. But something tells me a lot of you already guessed Boruto's intervention. What I feel many of you want to hear me talk about is Kawaki. So of course you all know Kawaki is about to get his limiters removed, but first I feel the conversation with AMADO and him was pretty necessary to establish the status on their little deal. The deal which entails Kawaki bringing back his daughter using karmic resurrection. But now that they talked about it and found common ground in relation to the deal, it's time for AMADO to modify Kawaki's power to a fully offensive power form. No more talking is needed now. Kawaki told AMADO the deal. He will only resurrect AKEBI when the Shinju, Boruto, and Code are all dealt with, and even though he didn't really seem all that happy to hear that, he'll realize soon enough that abiding by Kawaki's wishes is the only way to get what he wants. So I suspect this next upcoming chapter, he will make that a reality. And the real exciting part is that you can really see the fear and concern for Kawaki in AMADO's face. The only reason he wanted Kawaki to revive his daughter now is because of the possibility that Kawaki could be killed by the Shinju if he goes off to fight them. So trust me, AMADO is going to turn Kawaki into a real apostle of destruction. I can't even cap, that gotta be one of the hardest nicknames for any character I ever heard in Naruto. Nah, actually, Madara's nickname is kinda hard too. The Ghost of the Uchiha. Wait, okay. Who do you think has the best nickname in all of Naruto? The Boruto included. Leave that down in the comment section. I think it'll be a little fun to read and see what everyone thinks. But back to the video, I'm yapping. So Kawaki getting his limiters removed is almost a guarantee for next chapter. Now, regarding whether he gets them removed at the beginning of the chapter or towards the end, that all depends how the flow of the chapter goes. But knowing how Ikimoto operates so far, it might be towards the end, just to build that hype and retain the suspense going into chapter 20. But now we proceed to enter the most anticipated part of the series. From Kawaki getting his limiters removed kinda aligning with Boruto going to Sunagakure, I can see Kawaki joining up with everyone to help take down the Shinju. We look back at chapter 15, Boruto and Kawaki already came to an agreement to put their beef aside and work together to defeat the Shinju. So even if they both were to run into each other in the Land of Wind, they won't automatically try to kill each other. Or maybe I should just say that for Kawaki, Boruto wouldn't try to fight him anyway. So it's all leading up for Kawaki to show up to the Land of Wind and fight off both Matsuri and Ryu to save everyone. Perhaps either they both retreat, or JURA actually shows up and all-out war breaks out with both Boruto and Kawaki challenging him. Now, there is a possibility things could turn out differently than how Koji envisioned, meaning Boruto may survive this encounter with JURA, especially if Kawaki is there to help out on the situation. Yeah, I don't think Boruto will die this time. Back in chapter 15, Boruto already altered the timeline and created a plethora of new possibilities and 100 plus new futures by even telling Kawaki about the limiters that was placed on him. So right there, that's an event that could act as a catalyst that could shift the entire narrative surrounding Koji's foresight. Now, there is a chance that Koji ends up being right about JURA showing up, but since he was so wrong about how the mission was executed, or ended up being executed, there's a chance he could be wrong about Boruto dying in this encounter yet again. And of course, I'm gonna bank on him being wrong again, because right before our eyes, we're seeing prescience become obsolete. It's going to get to the point where it's useless to even gaze into the future. is just because there's simply too many people aware of information they should not know about. Just people merely knowing about information that they shouldn't know yet is changing the timeline constantly. Prime example, Konohamaru finding out that Matsuri is a clone of Moegi, and then of course Kawaki finding out about his limiters. Them knowing all of that knowledge comes with a risk, and that risk comes at the cost of their most valuable asset in prescience becoming useless. And once again, if you want to know more on how exactly does people knowing certain information about the future hurt the timeline, I did make a whole video on that, going in depth on the whole thing. So if you're interested, just click the video in the description below. But getting back into what we will see in chapter 19, I can see Boruto finally making his move to Sunagakure to save Sarada and the rest from their battle. Probably will help Konohamaru first because he's in the most need for help at the moment. And then once Boruto helps them defeat one or gain an advantage, that'll give Kawaki time to fly over there to help out too. And once he flies in and shows off his new strength by taking on and killing Ryu or Matsuri, JURA will step in and force Boruto and Kawaki to work together and push him back. So please don't take what I say literally. Things can play out a little differently to fit the narrative or flow of the story, but I suspect it will start off with Boruto and Sunagakure first, maybe help them fight the Shinju back a little bit and gain leverage. Then later on Kawaki joins in and makes his presence known until they have to fight JURA. All this could happen in the duration of chapter 19 and 20, but I just wanted to let you guys know the gist of what I think is to come in the future of the series. But I want to get some predictions out of you guys. I did make a post on my community tab where I wanted you guys to put your predictions for chapter 19. So go ahead and head to that post and comment down what you guys want to see for a chance to be in the prediction video. You can also comment it down here, but over on the post it'll be a higher chance of me seeing it. So yeah, I recommend you guys commenting on that post. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this short preview like video for chapter 19 that I cooked up. And if you enjoyed the video and don't mind seeing more like this in the near future, why not leave a like, comment, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you get notified whenever I upload or go live for chapter spoilers. And until my next one, I'll catch you boys and girls later. And I'm out. Peace.